Hey folks, happy Thursday to you. We continue our March prayer calendar. The last couple days of March here. It is March 30th. My oldest child's birthday, in fact, today, 19 years old, believe it or not. Happy birthday to Landon, who probably never watches these. But anyways, James 1:5, James, the very small book in the new towards the end of the Old Testament. So turn in your Bibles to James chapter 1, verse 5. It is, if you get to Revelations, you've gone too far. It's just probably 10 pages before the beginning of Revelations, if that, though. And it's just a couple pages long, so it's easy to miss. James is, if you want to read sort of a very straightforward author, read James, man. He just gets straight to the point, and is very clear with the churches who are asking him particular questions. So, and the prayer prompt today, of course, this week we're praying about finding God's will, differentiating between our will and God's will, decreasing our will and increasing the capacity for ourselves to live into God's will. All of this kind of idea. And the prayer prompt says, but I need more detailed wisdom for my special problem. So this idea of needing God's wisdom to be clear for you, given whatever it is that you are going through. And so James says this to that question about needing more wisdom from God. If any of you is lacking in wisdom, ask God, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly, and it will be given you. And I got to think what James was talking about is if you find a lack of wisdom for making a particular decision in your own will, you don't have the understanding, capacity, strength, grace, whatever, ask God, sort of step into God's will, because God's will give you that wisdom, courage, strength, grace, mercy, whatever it is that you're in need of, that God gives that stuff generously and unbegrudgingly. So sometimes we ourselves are incapable by our will of living a certain way. And it's only when we step into God's will do we find that capacity. I think of that in terms of forgiving certain people and loving certain people. There are probably people who it would be difficult for you to forgive if they did a certain thing to you or your loved ones. And the lesson for the New Testament, of course, is that we're supposed to give everyone for everything. And I just know that that is beyond my capacity. If someone, for example, hurts my children, it might be really difficult for me to forgive them. And it would only be by an act of God that I would be able to forgive them. It would only be by leaving my will and entering into God's will that I would be able to have the strength to forgive that individual. I think that's what James is talking about. If you don't have it within you, search for God, because God has that capacity and is willing to generously share it with you. So I pray if you're in one of those moments and you lack the capacity to do the faithful thing, that you might discover that it's your will that lacks the capacity, not God's. And so let your will go. Let God's will win in this moment. God bless you. Have a great day.